and let's go from there. Let's count down, and we'll begin. All right. And I need you to give me a thumbs up or something. Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning. Wake up. You ain't doing nothing better. And since you ain't doing nothing better, it's a great time for you to spend time getting better. As a matter of fact, everybody that's on normally, did you send a text out and let them know I'm live? Shoot a text right quick. That's it. Shoot a text. Text me right quick. Let everybody know New Life is live. And I want everybody to throw this in the comments. I've got something in me. I've got something in me. Yeah, I do. There are gifts inside of you you've been sleeping on, gifts you don't know about. And today, God sent a woman of God that's going to stir up every gift that God has put inside of you. I want you to share, all of you watching on Facebook. I want you to share. I want you to tag some gifted people. Most gifted people are the people that feel like they're going crazy. Maybe you're not crazy. Maybe you're gifted. You're just not grounded. We're going to talk about that today, and I want you to tag them today. Suicide is at an all-time high. Depression is at an all-time high. Be responsible for the people connected to you. It's so raggedy. If I'm struggling with a problem, you got the solution and won't even share it. So everybody that's watching on Facebook, I want you to share right quick. Everybody watching on YouTube, I want you to send it out, okay? And if you just received the link that we're live, I want you to hit share and throw. I've got something in me. I've got a woman of God that we're getting ready to release in just a moment that is going to absolutely bless your life. She is one of my favorite communicators. Truth is, she's one of my favorite people. And so today, you're getting ready to see somebody pour into you that has poured into me for so many years. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited about it. Let me have a little more on this mic today. I'm really excited about that. That's why I say mark the mics. You know, I say mark the mics, so I ain't got to keep doing this, but praise God. All right, so today everybody hit share. That was sweet how I did that, right? It was on the low. You ain't even hear it. You ain't even hear it that time down. Oh no, I want you to hit share quickly. Everybody hit share, all right? And then throw it in the comments, current events. I want to get us talking. I want to get you thinking. I want to get you ready. This week I want to talk about a few things that have happened. I want to know what you think about it. I want to know what you feel about it. We come to culture class on Saturday to think out loud. The world is trying to clone you to make you like everybody else. No. This is a season to be unapologetic about what you believe, as long as it's you that believes it. Last week we discussed Roe versus Wade, and I had a prophet friend of mine, called me, and we had a complete disagreement, about what they thought about Roe versus Wade. And some people feel like Roe versus Wade is a win for the kingdom because it will get America back in line. I disagree with that. I think that more than about abortion, it's about your choices. And abortion is the choice that they're dangling. And a lot of people are saying it ain't no problem because you wouldn't have an abortion. But the truth of the matter is, it's not about abortion, it's about choices. And I want everybody to throw this in the comments. God is pro-choice. The entire fall of man happened over a choice. God told the man, you can't eat from the garden, but he didn't take the tree from the garden. He tested him with a choice. That's the difference between man and every other creation. Every other creature God created does not have the gift of free will. Dogs don't have a choice. I don't hear nobody. Sometimes freedom is the test. Y'all not talking back to me. Okay. Oh no, I don't want to get that. So watch this. I don't go with Roe versus Wade because keep that same energy when they take your next choice. When they take your vote. When they say your little black kids got to go to this school and your little white kids got to go. Hey, how about the choice that Negroes shouldn't be free no more? Keep that same, hey, Romans 12, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your what? Mind. I want you to use your mind. So let's put up a few things that happened this week. Do we have videos or something queued and ready for this week. Current events. The world is tripping. I want to know what y'all think about this. It happened right here in Detroit the other day. Everybody throw this in the comments. The world is cold. Yeah, and in the comments, hey, listen, you don't have to agree with me. This is a safe space to disagree. Just don't be disrespectful. Are you hearing me? In the comments, I want you to, if you don't like what somebody says, you go on in there and argue. Just stay in your place now. Y'all ain't saying nothing. No, I want you to have courage to disagree. See, if Jesus had a problem with disagreement, he would have never let Thomas be a disciple. Real leaders are not offended by doubt. They're accountable to it. When you're a real leader, you have no problem with someone having a disagreement with your perspective because it forces you to commit to the integrity of what you say in spite of the individual that you see. Are y'all hearing me? So it's okay to disagree. Disagreement is not demonic, okay? I want you to embrace your differences. So I want you to check this out. It's a cold world, and right here in Detroit, is this the Facebook Live? No, this wasn't Detroit. This was Ypsi. Y'all check this out. I want to know what you think about this. I want to know what you think. Let's go.
And it's a murder streamed online for all to see. An argument on Facebook Live goes from heated to deadly.
And we begin in Ypsilanti, where that deadly shooting captured on Facebook Live has left the community stunned. The victim had become somewhat of a local celebrity because of those live feeds.
Yesterday, that all came to an abrupt and tragic end. Sean Lay live with this story tonight with more on what escalated all of this. Sean.
Let's talk about that escalation, Devin. Terrell Smith was on his Facebook Live talking to the camera. He was in a heated exchange with someone who was making comments as he was going live. Minutes later, someone drove right up to his house in Ypsilanti. More than 30 shots were fired. Facebook flooded with sadness, heartache, and tributes today for this man, Terrell Smith of Ypsilanti, a local Facebook celebrity. Really? Smith was also known for his brutally honest Facebook Live appearances called Rel's Corner. Tuesday, Smith took to Facebook Live for another edition, at first expressing his loyalty to Ypsilanti.
What make y'all think, because y'all moved that y'all better than Ypsi? Y'all ain't better than Ypsi, y'all product of Ypsi.
Then Smith exchanging words with someone who was commenting on his Facebook Live and making threats.
Now you on Facebook, I'm riding around with 60 shots. You riding around with 100 shots, bro.
Thousands were watching and were horrified by what happened next. Smith sees a car approach and sees someone get out.
Okay, we got action. We got action.
Smith was shot and killed. The shooting is not seen on camera, but we will warn you. Just the sound of the gun violence is disturbing enough. We will only play a moment of the 30 rapid-fire shots. A neighbor can be heard frantically calling 911.
Somebody been shot.
The horrifying video seen 37,000 times before Facebook was alerted and took it down. And tonight, Facebook says when awful things like this occur on a Facebook Live, they do try to take it off Facebook as quickly as possible. Again, that video is no longer seen on Facebook. The person firing those shots still out there tonight. Kimberly, Devin.
Boy. So where does this investigation stand now, Sean?
Like I say, the suspect not in custody as of yet. The Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office is investigating, and they are working with that video to try to make the connection of who shot Mr. Smith.
Yeah, we will stay on it. All right, Sean.
Hey, everybody throw it in the comments. It's a cold world. Matthew 24 says at these times the hearts of men will grow, cold, man. Shot on Facebook Live. Well, let's take the first principle I want us to receive since we're in a cold world. Write this down. Everybody's not playing. Y'all be huffing and puffing in people's comments. No, seriously, I don't post pictures of my son often on my page because people comment. And every now and then people are getting them comments and say, well, this, that, and the next. And I'm like, do you see your face? Seriously. No, throw it in the comments. Everybody ain't playing. You gotta be careful, see, because going live can stop you from going live. Y'all ain't said being too live. Well, I like speaking the truth. Okay, everybody throw this in the comments. In love. You got to learn to speak your truth in love because everybody is not going to receive what you're saying differently. You know, I was at the car. Matter of fact, throw this in the comments. People on edge already. I was at the car wash last week, and when I was at the car wash, I was trying to. It was one of them washes you do it yourself, you know. And I was walking up to somebody, and it was a person I had known. One of them, I went to school with him, and I said, "How you doing?" I said, "How you doing?" I was just asking, "Was the pump working?" You know. And they was with somebody. I mean, don't run up on me like that. I said, "We had a car wash." Why you standing behind me? We in line. It's a line right here. Okay, hey, everybody do me a favor. Throw this in the comments. Stop taking it so seriously. Hey, stop letting what people say about you cause you to abandon your future because of your feelings. Feelings don't last. Your future can, though. You throwing your future away because you mad for now. Are y'all hearing me? Get control of your future. Then also, I saw this week, did y'all see that? A 78-year-old woman, a person broke. Yeah, I don't even want to go into that one. Put up the next clip. Put up this next subject that we put up. Because not only did that happen, did y'all see yesterday a gunman go to a house with 5 adults, 3 children, and came to the house, they say about 11 o'clock in the morning, and just shot a few rounds in the house. And then danced outside with the gun. I mean, just danced. I want to know where the neighbors were. Y'all ain't saying that back to me. Throw this in the comment, restore the hood. See, y'all don't want to get me started on this. Because I'm trying to figure out how a gunman was outside in the hood, letting off, and hold on, he dancing with the gun. He said, he danced. Where the neighbors at? You want to know how to fix the communities? Write this down. Bring the neighbor back to the hood. Man, if that was the street I grew up on back when I was around, what you talking about? By the time whose car is that? This car ain't even from here. Do y'all remember growing up in the neighborhood saying, "Nah, we don't even like green on this street. Don't nobody on this street riding Fords. We don't." Are y'all hearing me? So number one, I want you to stop taking everything people say about you so seriously. Stop allowing people to get a reaction out of you. Because sometimes that's all they want. Are y'all hearing me? That's all they want. So I want you to be careful, and I want you to be mindful. How do y'all think about, what do you think about what's happening in the world? When you see the news, I want to hear somebody in this room. I want to kind of hear from you about when you see what's happening, how does it make you feel? What does it make you think? Does anybody here watch the news? And I believe in watching the news. People be saying, "I don't like negativity." Okay, you better live in reality. Are y'all hearing me? I have to know what's going on in this world since I'm in it. So I need to watch that. I need to watch that. Come on, anybody have anything? I want to know if you have anything to contribute today, okay? Bump the person next to you and tell them you whack for that. Tell them that right now. Tell them you whack for that. Tell them, I hope I'm not about to waste a whole day sitting next to a cardboard box. No, talk to them. Say, you whack for that. Tell them, ain't no point. Y'all be talking about, we want to think. No, you don't. You scared to think. Where's my mic? Come on, give me some hands. Where's my mic? Come on. There it is. All right, there it is. Move quick. I want to get Doc up by 9:30. I want to get her up by 9:30. Come on, let's think. Jump up. Let me hear you. Come on. Okay, is the mic on? This was sound. Hold on, Mama. Is the mic on? Okay, let's
When
go.
I see the news and everything, it really grieves my spirit, and sometimes it brings me to tears, but I, pray and ask God, what can I do to change things? And what can we do, you know, as a community like you're teaching us? And so I don't know what else to do but pray.
That's
And
so
I know
powerful.
Prayer changes things. So
Yeah.
I pray, and then if I encounter, you know, someone, because I did have an incident one time at the Secretary of State where a woman, she of a different color, she cursed me.
Wow.
But she got into my vehicle and said it was hers. She got in the driver's side.
Oh.
And she thought I was going to be in the Secretary of State's office for a long while, so I got in the passenger side with my daughter, and she got into the driver's side, and she told me to get out because this is not her vehicle.
Wait a minute. No, so you saying this woman got in your car?
She got into my vehicle because my daughter went in the Secretary of State, and she texted me and told me to bring her something, so I brought her something. So I think that she was observing people in the Secretary of State to see how long they were going to be there to take something out of their car. So I came out so quickly and jumped in the passenger side, and I looked, and she's in the driver's side, and so I said, ma'am, this is not your vehicle, and she kept combating with me back and forth, saying, yes, it is. And
Now,
so
you
I
know,
told her,
no, hold on. Let me tell y'all something. Throw this in the comments. The devil is bold. No, and I'm serious. This is why on Sundays after church, Doc Nelson, I tell all of the ladies that need gas, go after church Sundays so the men can go with them. Because the world is evil and it's not safe. So you have to take precaution in everything. I would have loved to have seen Mallory come out there after she found out what happened at her mama's car. Y'all ain't saying that.
it wasn't Mallory,
Yeah.
it's my other daughter.
Oh, it was your other one. Okay, but hey, throw this in the comments because Mama raised a big question. What else can we do? I want everybody watching because that's a powerful question. And that's what we're going to get today. Throw this in the comments. Be light. That's what you can do. Come on. Okay, come on. Okay, hold on. Dot, wait, Sister Terry. I want to go to Sister Terry. And then I want to throw it. I want to throw it over to Dot. Come on, we got 5 minutes. Everybody watching on Facebook, watching on YouTube, share it. I want you to join in the conversation in the comments. I'm going to be watching them, so I want to hear it. Come on. We got to go quick because I want Doc up in 5 minutes. Come on.
It grieves me, you know, it's like you said that these are the end times, but it stirs something up in me to allow me to get more in God's presence for what he is called light in the world.
Yes, yes.
It's just position myself more correctly so that I can be what I'm supposed to be.
Yes, you know, the word of God is a cheat sheet for life. It really, you ain't got to go over that, Doc. You sit right there. It's a cheat sheet for life where, you know, if you want to know what's happening in the world, you got to get in your word. It's hard to survive the world by faith, ignorant of the word. Because it's the word that tells you about the world. Go to Matthew 24. Matthew 24. I want you to read it. It's the I believe. This Pastor Welton, I don't know who your pastor is. This is just me. I believe that the world ended and we're waiting on a new world to begin. Matthew 24 gives you a description on what the world would look like at the end, and I think we're here. Doc Nelson is jumping in here. Doc, what you got? What you got? Don't y'all hang up, because this one about to blow your mind. I'm trying to tell you.
I need y'all to recognize I was raised on Elmhurst near 12, up in the absolute good.
Yeah, check on my grandmama. See what she is. That's my grandmama. Yeah.
This is an incident that happened to my sister. She went to, now this is here now. This is not too, a couple of years ago. She went to the store. You know, her and her they were little grandsons then. She went to the store. And she walks out of the store, and there was a guy that was standing there when she went in. So when she walks out the store, and she goes to get in her car, he snatched her. I had bought her this cross, a diamond cross. So he snatched the cross off her neck and then snatched her purse. So remember I just told y'all I grew up on
Yes.
I was 12.
Yes.
He was there with me. My sister loved the Lord and she heard his cry.
Right. Right.
And pitied every groan. But 12th Street came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Wait a minute. As saved, sanctified, and anointed as you are, you got 12th Street down in there?
Listen.
Throw it in the comments. Hold on to your 12th Street. Hold on to your 12th Street.
She looked up, and bruh man did not have a gun. He had nothing.
Wow.
And all of a sudden she said, "You ain't got no gun or no knife?"
Oh my goodness.
She tore the whole panel where he went to shut the door because he jumped in the car. Where he went to shut it, she snatched his door and tore that whole quarter panel off.
Once she realized
you ain't got nothing.
People have nerve.
But let me tell you what the hood will do. I'm standing in the mall in the store, and she called me crying. So I'm like, put that all back because I'm out of here. So I go to the store where it happened, and he, like, you got these big screens up here. When we go, and I'm gonna tell you what store it is. Got these big screens up here. Excuse me, sir. My sister just got mugged outside your store, and you got all these cameras up here. I'm gonna need you to roll that tape back and see what happened out here in front of your store. He said, "Is this her purse?" Because he knew who did it, and it was a girl that was with him. He told the girl, "You go find him and tell him I said he better bring that purse back up here right now."
The owner knew it.
The owner knew him.
See, you got to restore the hood to fix the hood. We keep expecting their world to fix ours. How about, I've never expected their world to come back. People have nerve, and you got to be real careful. You know, I've got a 4-year-old son, and sometimes, Don, me and my son are out, and the nerve people have. No, I mean, people walk up to my son like they have a relationship. They be like, "How you doing?" And I was out to lunch with him, and I'll close with this. I was out to lunch with my son about a week and a half ago, and we were sitting at the table eating lunch, and as I'm watching, I'm eating, and I start noticing my son is distracted. So then I look over, and I'm trying to see what he's looking at, and there's a woman, this stranger I've never seen, that has a little dog on her lap, and she's looking at my son, telling him, "Come here. Come." And I say, "Ma'am, we don't look at your fingernails. Your fingernails. I don't know about that." And so this is a moment where people really are out of their minds. Okay? We've been locked up in this house, and watch this, since we've been locked up, everything coming out. And so today, we've asked the question, what do we do about all of this cold in the world? Everybody throw this in the comments. Be light, and throw it in there, release your gift. I make this recommendation, I just throw it out there for every person that's not too saved to go to the movie theater. I recommend that everybody that love God go see my pastor's Elvis. He's my pastor. Y'all don't understand. He's my pastor. I've been growing up in his church, and I didn't understand why until my baby loved me. No. But listen to me. Here's what's crazy. I keep telling you, when it's God, you don't have to work it. It just works. Everybody throw this in the comments. There's one move, and there's one word. God's always speaking the same word, and he's always moving in the same direction. The fight comes when you trying to get God to move like you. When God, man, I've been teaching on this be light. I can't say it because I don't want to throw it out there, but how about I'll show you that the movie ends with a light going out. The last scene of the movie is a light. See, when God is giving you a word, he's using the world to communicate it. That's why I want you to be more spirit-led than spirit-tid, because when you're spirit-tid, you only hear God in church. When God is giving you a word, you'll be at lunch and the waiter say something that confirm what you said in prayer. You'll be sitting up there, they'll be like, "Can I take your order, please?" You'll be like, "What's your special?" He'll be like, "Whatever you like." That's what God said in prayer. See, God is not just speaking in church. That's just the only place you're listening. The truth of the matter is, I sat in that movie, Elvis, Chanel, and the whole time I was in there trying to hold it together. It was just, I was the only black one in there. It was a whole bunch of white folk. And you know, I love going to movies with white people. It's such an entertaining crowd. But, you know, I was in there, Chanel, and I'm feeling the Holy Ghost. I'm hallelujah, you know, thank you, Jesus. I'm holding it together. I'm telling you, I got up the next morning. I took my grandmother to go, and let me say this: if you got a grandmother, grandfather, uncle, aunt, you've been looking for something to do with them, go take them to see Elvis. I mean, I saw my grandmother singing Elvis lyrics. I'm sitting next to. She said, "Oh no, we liked Elvis, baby." Now, she said, "I remember Elvis with the pelvis." Now wait a minute. Hold yourself together. Amen. Just in case you do not know, I'm coming to your city sometime soon. All right, so they're going to give it up. This week, I'll be headed to Memphis, Tennessee, right? They're going to put it up there, so anybody in Memphis, I'll be there this Tuesday. I get to go. I'll be there with one of the kings, Dr. Frank E. Ray. I'll be there for his preaching conference. I'll be on Tuesday teaching Preaching While Wounded. That's going to be fun, because I don't believe in these new preachers that can't take nothing. A call to preach is a call to be wounded. But we'll talk about that. All right, and then the following week, I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina, with Prophet Brian Carn. I'll be there Friday for his Holy Convocation. So Charlotte, I'll be there, and I'm looking forward to it. And then the following week, I'm going to Shelby, North Carolina. Now, I don't know which way that is from Charlotte and Shelby, but I'll be in Shelby on the 22nd and in Detroit. Do we have what I need for Detroit? Where I'll be at, but I'll be a few places. So if you want to come to PW Live, it's going to be a lot of fun. On Monday nights, we go live, and I'm building a live studio audience for PW Live. So on Monday nights, if you want to come and think out loud, I challenge you to make space for this time. Okay, everybody throw it in the comments, releasing your gifts. All right, throw it in the comments, put it in there right now, and I want everyone in this room to stand on your feet, everyone in that room. I want you to hit share. I want you to do whatever you've got to do. There's a gift in you, and there's a principality that's coming against your personality. It's trying to get you to be like everybody else, and if you don't conform, they make you feel like something's wrong with you. No, God put something in you. Hold on, this is crazy, okay? I want everybody in this room, lift your hands high. And everyone in that room, I want you to open your mouth and say, God sent me to change the earth. Say, when I leave here, the earth better know I've been here. I'm so excited about this woman of God that's getting ready to pour into you. And hear me, I want you to share it. I want you to lock in. I want you to be in the comments. I want you to respond. Matter of fact, would you help me, because we're building a model? I want to challenge everybody watching. There's going to be some information in the comments so you can plant your seed. I challenge you to give a seed of $25 on Saturday mornings, and we do this so that we can build something that matters. Did you know that when God made you, he sent you to earth full? Your job is that when you die, you make sure you die empty. This woman of God, her presence makes my heart leap. Every now and then, God will allow people around you to have a glimpse into your future. And they'll start telling you stuff about yourself you don't recognize. This woman of God has kept me grounded, kept me level, but made sure nothing got the best of me. Hey, watch people who make it their job to manage you. God's got a way of sending people in your life to cover you, not manage. I don't need managers. You need people to cover you. I'm so glad she's here. She serves at the Third New Hope Baptist Church. She's been there for years, but beyond that, she's one of the most powerful theological minds of our time in the body of Christ. And the truth of the matter is, she is not a female preacher. She is a theologian that happened to have or be a woman. You understand? This morning, I want you to clap your hands in this house, tap your hands in that house, receive this great woman of God, Dr. Jacqueline Nelson. Would y'all clap your hands and make noise for her as she comes? No, do better than that. Love on her.
started in the parking lot. When I pulled up this morning, I said, from the parking lot to the sanctuary, the Spirit of the Lord lives in this place. Come on, give God a hand clap of praise. How grateful I am. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. How grateful I am to be here on today. I am excited about what God is doing in the life of this ministry, in the life of this pastor, who walks to and I always tell him that, who walks to a different rhythm, because he won't allow himself to be boxed in to somebody else's. And so I celebrate all that God, yeah, you can celebrate that. You can celebrate that fact. So I'm thankful to God for the relationship that we have. And listen, I tell you, you know when you're in a real relationship with someone, when you don't have to always agree. And so that's when the relationship knows that it's real. And when we got to that place, we just had to go through and hug it out and come out. And we are grateful to God. I'm grateful to God for that. So I celebrate your pastor today and all of you that are here, those of you that are listening live stream-wise, and however you are manifesting what God is doing. I'm grateful to God. Listen, I want to just have a quick word of prayer, and then we're going to enter into our time of dialogue and study, and what God has given to me, I pray that it blesses you, and that we can do what God has divinely assigned us. All right? Let's go to God in prayer. Eternal God, we come in your presence, and we first and foremost honor you for who you are. You are God, and God all by yourself. There's nothing and nobody like you. And for that, God, we are grateful and we are thankful. I pray, God, now for this time together that you have given us, that it is rich and it accomplishes what you set out for it to do. I pray for every person that's in this spirit, in this place. I pray for every person that's listening, oh God, and wherever this time is shot out to in the universe, may your blessings be upon it. Thank you, God, for all that you're doing in this season, in the craziness of the world that we're living in. You are still God, and we are thankful and we are grateful. Pray for those who are sick. Pray for those who are bereaved. Pray for those, God, that just need to hear from you. Ease up next to them, God. Whisper in their ear, I am here, and it'll make everything be all right. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank God and amen. Amen, amen. Amen. Well, listen, I'm just kind of a free-flowing kind of person. I have my stuff that I have with me, but I have to move like the Lord tells me to move. I wish I had cleaned these glasses a little better, though. But listen, I believe, and this is just me. This is my belief. If God saved your soul, you accepted the fact that you were a sinner in need of saving, and you believed in your heart, confessed with your mouth that factor, and God saved you, then I believe that God put a gift in you. I do not believe for one moment that God ever called a pew member. I don't believe God ever said, I'm going to save you from your sins, give you life eternal, now take yourself, sit it on a pew, and stay there till I call you home. I ain't trying to preach, I'm just saying what I'm saying. So I don't believe that God ever called us to be sitters in the church. And I also believe that God calls you to a certain place at a certain time so that that gift can be utilized and nurtured. I know y'all love Pastor Welton Smith. I know y'all love PW. And y'all thought, because y'all loved him, that you joined this church. But little to your knowledge, and for those of you, because I know my friend is sitting back there that does not belong to this church, and I'll say the same thing to her because I know she loves her pastor as well. And for those of you that are listening to me that may be from other churches, I know you thought you joined that church because you liked the worship service and you liked the pastor. The choir was slamming that day when you joined the church. You bumped your way up to the front and gave your hand to the preacher and did. I know you thought you did all of that. But it was God divinely orchestrating your life to get you to where God wanted you to be, because God needed your gift or gifts to be nurtured in that space. That's why you cannot, and I'm going to be telling my age a little bit, that's why you cannot eat off of everybody's table. And we have to be careful in the times that we are living in right now, because there's a lot of tables open out there. Listen, I can start church at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I can go all day long, and every hour I can hit another church. 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 But that's not where God planted me. So be careful where you go and you dine. All right? I'm just saying what I'm saying. And I said that because my assignment today is to talk about the fact that you have a gift. I do not believe that God calls a pastor to be the sole purpose doing the work. I do not believe that God called, there's a little book that I use sometimes when I'm teaching. It's called, Can the Pastor Do It Alone? The job of a shepherd is to guide sheep and to nurture sheep so that sheep do what sheep are supposed to do. So there's a gift of God that's in you, and it was put in you in the very beginning of your existence. And so the assignment now is for us to discover the gift that we have and then allow that gift to go to work. But I'm afraid, Pastor, that some of us are afraid of our gift because our gift don't look like everybody else's gift. Am I right? It don't look like everybody. It's some things that God is saying to you for you to do and to begin to work at that you don't have a role model for it. You keep looking for at least one other person to at least be trying to do what you feel like God is calling you to do so that you can get what we call that confirmation. But let me tell you, COVID-19 wiped out a lot of stuff. And you won't get a confirmation because you are the confirmation. So I'm just saying to somebody, like Pastor said a few minutes ago, you are not crazy. What you are is gifted. And the gift that God is calling forth is a gift that you haven't seen operate yet because God is just not calling it up. So that I know what I'm talking about. This past December, 30 years ago, in a traditional Baptist church, keep 30 years ago in your mind, in a traditional Baptist church, God told me, preach my word. Who you talking to? Ain't no women in this church never preached the gospel. And you calling me to preach the gospel? Yes. Because I need to set into motion something that the gift of God that I have put in you can be utilized to set some other things in motion. So I accepted my call to ministry 30 years ago at Third New Hope Baptist Church under the leadership of Dr. E.L. Branch. Ain't never had a woman preaching over there. I ain't had no role models. I ain't know what to wear. I ain't know what to say. I ain't know how to sit in the pulpit. Do you cross your legs this way? Do you do this? Do you fold your arm? What do you wear when you preaching? Are my earrings too big? Is my skirt too long? Is my dress too tight? I didn't have nothing. I didn't have a role model there. But what God told me, stick with your pastor so that they can help you along this journey that you are on. And through that, there are now more than 25 other women that have come behind. That's why you got to use the gift of God. That's why you get this is my season. I told Pastor in the office, not going to get to my PowerPoint. This is my season. I believe that God has called me to pour into others. It's my season to pour into others, to help them to discover what God is doing in their life and do what I can to help nurture them in it. That's my assignment. And so that's why I'm here today, to talk about the gift of God that's in you. So let's look at the when we talk about stirring up the gifts. There's a piece that I was looking at, and it talks about the gift. And the one thing it says is that first and foremost, it says, knowing your spiritual gift helps you understand God's will for your life. Knowing God's spiritual gift that's in you, and everybody, as Pastor say, type this in the chat. Everybody has at least one gift. You got at least one. I don't know what it is. You may not know what it is, but know this: you got one. You got at least one. So knowing your gift helps you understand God's will for your life. You are not here just to be here. You are here to make an impact in this world. You are here to make a footprint for the kingdom in this world. We've already seen the footprints of what it means not to be a part of the kingdom. But you are here to make your footprint known. Dr. Renita Weems was at our church one time doing a lecture, and she was preaching. And she made this statement, and it stuck with me all of these years. She says, when you are gone, what will be the documentation that you've been here? When you leave, because y'all do realize you ain't going to be here forever. Even when the Lord comes back, you still got to leave here. So when you are gone, what will be the evidence that you've been in this world? And see, that's not age-oriented. That's kingdom business. How will they ever know that you've been here? And you can't ride on your pastor's coattails. You got to make your own footprint in this world. So knowing your spiritual gift helps you understand God's will for your life. And it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 9, it says, for we are laborers together with God. We are laborers together with God. That's 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, the 9th verse, if you want it. We are laborers together with God. We partner with God. There's a for over almost 10 years now, Pastor Smith, Pastor Branch said to us on a regular basis, And if you say this, you got to say, quote, E.L. Branch, because it's what he said to us. Way before COVID-19, way before he retired and became pastor emeritus, he said this to us, that God is up to something. And what's ours to do is to find our something within the something that God is up to. Then partner with God to make great things happen in our world. Now, you know he had to say it enough because I know it by heart. God is up to something. You got to stop looking at the crazy long enough to see that God is up to something. I don't care about COVID-19. I don't care about this other stuff that's happening. It's not greater than God. But what it does do, if you allow it, it will heighten your senses to see in the midst of the crazy, where is God in this? And what is my role as the one that's called out of darkness into the marvelous light? What is my role and what is my something in the midst of the crazy? Because you do know it's only by God's grace and mercy that we still here. That we have not been consumed. We thought consumed was a fire. Consumed could have been COVID. But you've made it thus far. And if you made it, and y'all, come on now, y'all know y'all was COVID supposed to have y'all a long time ago. You done walked around COVID. You done danced around COVID. You done masked around COVID. But for some, and look, I work with it every day down in Henry Ford Hospital. But I have never had COVID. And I believe that one of the reasons why is because there's something in the midst of that I'm supposed to do, is why I've been kept by God. So it says, this division of labor, simply stated, God will not do. I sure wish this was my stuff. But see, I study enough to where I'll pull from somebody. I'll give them credit. I don't want to steal nothing from nobody, but it's real good, and I thought and it's good for you. He said that this division of labor is simply stated, God will not do what he has called you to do. And you cannot do what God has reserved for God's self to do. God works through his children to accomplish his work here on the earth. He works through you when you use the gift given to you by God, allowing God to minister through you. So don't get trapped by ain't your gift. It's the gift of God that is within you, and unless you stay connected to God, see, unless you stay connected to God, you'll rise up in yourself, and you'll think that it's you that's doing it. Because you know, some of y'all got some degrees, and you done been to school, and you might have a little money, and got a little knowledge, and all of that. You can't work that camera unless God give you the gift to work it. See. So it says that it's for his work, and when you use the gift given to you by God, allowing God to minister through you, you literally become a co-laborer with God. You literally become a co-laborer with God. And what I'm glad about is that the gift of God ain't confined. It's not confined to the four walls of the church no more. That's why the gift, the stuff that you're hearing from God, it's not just church stuff. Because see, you on assignment in the world. On your job, you are on assignment in the world. And if the gift only works in the world, in the church, it's not really a whole gift. Because see, the same way that you look through that camera and you see various things, isn't it amazing how that same eye has the ability to, outside of here, you can see certain things and you ain't even got no camera with you. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I know my time is limited. Now, so knowing your spiritual gifts, first thing is, it helps you understand God's will for your life. We good with that? Good with that, okay. And if you all have questions or comments, you ain't got to wait till I'm done. I'm free-flowing like that. I might not be able to see you, but you might have to holler. Also, knowing your gift helps you know what God has not called you to do. See, let me tell you. I learned that God is not funny, but God does have a sense of humor. Because for 7 years, I served as the vice president of the choir at Third New Hope. God ain't funny, but God has a sense of humor. And I had to realize he didn't call me to serve as the vice president of the choir because I could sing so well, because I can't sing a lick. My grandson tells me that on a regular basis. Who can sing? But what it did do, it was the beginning of my training in leadership. See, he didn't call me to the choir to sing. Now let me tell you, just so y'all don't think I'm Patty Perfect. I was called to be the vice president of the choir by Pastor Branch. When my daughter was in my arms and wasn't even a year old yet. So I'm on the phone with the pastor, and he said, I want you to carry out this role as the vice president of the choir. And I'm looking down, I got a brand new baby. Brand new baby. I'm looking down at her. You calling me to be a leader in the church, an unwed mother, to be a leader in it, because y'all know I came up in an era where all that was, that was like a no-no. You sat down and be quiet, but I didn't serve with that kind of pastor because he could see something that I couldn't see in my own self. So I'm called to be a leader in the choir. Unbeknownst to me, it was really for training in leadership skills that I had to use later on when I became a preacher. Y'all with me? Y'all, we good? So I'm just telling you, me, how I know that God moves, because see, knowing your gift helps you know what God has not called you to do. I know I was clear. He did not call me to lead no songs in the choir. But I knew there was some leadership skills. I figured I finally came clear on the fact that there was some leadership skills that I had to learn in the church, because unbeknownst to me, those leadership skills that were being nurtured for me in the church spilled out into the world, and I became the one leader at DMC Hospital for the cytopathology laboratories. My degree is not in leadership, but my learning was right nurtured in the church, to where I could take what I learned from the church into the world. And see, you don't know that my leadership skills caused me. Now, at that, you know how many hospitals DMC had? I led every cytology laboratory across the system. So I had to walk amongst everybody. I had to be up at the table with everybody, with vice presidents and all of this. But the leadership skills that I had started right in the house of worship. So it can't just be for in here, but you can sure get you some good practice. All right, okay, I'm hurrying along. Any questions or comments? We good? Y'all rolling with me? All right. Look crazy, but you rolling with me. So the next thing, knowing your spiritual gifts relieves you from serving out of duty. Knowing your spiritual gifts relieves you from serving out of duty because you think it's your duty to do what you do. Christians have many reasons for serving in areas that keep them busy but not fulfilled. Baby, we got busy down. We got busy down. That's why y'all ain't mad at COVID. Whew, I can sit down for a minute. Y'all ain't mad at COVID. Y'all don't like COVID, but you ain't mad at COVID. Because if nothing else, COVID sets you down for a minute. And you realize some things. Is this what I'm really called to do? Or is it something else that God has for me to do? Christians have many reasons for serving in areas that keep them busy but not fulfilled. It boils down to this. Many serve out of duty instead of God's calling. When you use the gift God has given you, you will be able to operate at maximum fulfillment with minimal frustration. See, I don't get mad when people ask me to come teach, because I know that's what I've been called to do. I don't get mad when somebody calls me and says, pray for me, because pastoral care is what I'm called to do. I don't get mad when they tell me somebody has died and has passed and I need to go to the funeral and need to do this and need to do that, because that's what I'm called to do. That doesn't frustrate me. That heightens the gift of God in me. So I'm not serving out of duty. That's not my duty. That's my calling. And in a minute we're going to talk about that. So, and it says that when you use the gift of God that God has given you, you will be able to operate at maximum fulfillment with minimum frustration and will find the true area for which God has gifted you. Wow. Listen, I have served in the church. I'm not to the church. I was the usher. I wore the nurse's uniform. But listen, I bet you couldn't beat me ushering, because it was a part of my journey to get to where, when I was in college, when I was at the University of Missouri, I never missed church. I hung around a couple of parties too, but I never missed church, because I have a problem with people that try to paint the picture like they never did anything in their life. But I never missed church. And God always somehow placed people in my life that could see something in me that I couldn't see in myself. So when I was in college, there was a lady that was in college with me, Barbara Ballinger. She was the president of the usher board. And she took me under her wing. That was back in the days when the ushers had to wear the uniform with the gloves and do the signs. You remember that when your grandma Gracie used to take you to church, Pastor. You had the gloves and you had to do you had to know all the signs, and you didn't holler at people and tell them to come off the floor and go sit down. And you had a sign, and you had to know, the ushers had to know the sign. So that's how I learned ushering. So I didn't understand what she was doing at that time. So she trained me in that. But one day, Miss Barbara got sick with cancer. But she had trained me so well in what to do as the key usher to where when she was taking her radiation and her chemotherapy, when she came to church and couldn't stand and do what the key usher did, she could sit in the back of the church because she knew she had trained me what to do. So I'm saying that to say to you that you will find the true area, and you will find the true area for which God has gifted you. All of those steps along the journey is what got me to where I am today. So I didn't have a problem being an usher. I didn't have a problem being the vice president of the choir. I didn't have a problem being the nurse in the church, because all of it was a step along the journey. Had no idea back then that it was God that was preparing me for the ultimate call to preach the gospel. But there's a sensitivity that I have for the people of God because I came from amongst them. Okay, all right. All right, y'all, we still good? Okay, all right. I got another piece I got to do, so I got to hurry on through this. Now, knowing your gift feels a deeper inner need. Have you ever, the question says, have you ever been to a hospital? You may have met the mean nurse, the mean old nurse who bites your head off every time you sit on a patient's bed. Y'all been to the hospital? When the nurse says they ain't pleasant that day. They want to take your head off. They come in and say, you're not supposed to do that. And you ain't supposed to, don't touch that, leave that alone. And we get ready to do something with the patient, so we need you to step out the room. You know, y'all don't run, I know I have. You run into them. But listen to this. But overall, a hospital is a place where you find a staff of people who are getting more fulfillment out of life than an average person. Why? Because they are in the people-serving business. Let me give y'all a secret. As Pastor said, write this down. You are in the people-serving business. That's your assignment. To serve the people of God. And listen, and I say the people of God. Notice I didn't say the saved people. You are in the business of serving the people of God. Now, who are the people of God? Everybody that God created. Everybody. You're not just here to serve New Life. Because if you're only serving New Life, you missed it. We are called to serve the people of God. That's what you encounter. It says that they are willing to wrap their lives in the lives of other people. They are meeting an inner need that God has put into the souls of humanity, Christians and non-Christians alike. Your gift will complement this inner need that God has placed in you. There ought to be a hunger inside of you. When you are operating in the gift that God has for you, it's a hunger for it. The Bible says you become like the deer that panted after the water brook. Your soul desires it. Your soul desires it. I don't know if I couldn't preach, teach, visit the sick, take care of people. I don't know what my life would be like, but I'm clear. I'm crystal clear that that's what God has called me to do. I spend the rest of my life, let me tell you why. Because not only was I on this side of caring, I was on the other side where I needed to be cared for. And so the only way I can demonstrate my gratitude is to look out and see you and try to figure out what I can do to care for you too. See, because I owe it to God. I can't go up to heaven and go to God and do it for God, but I can do it for that who God created. That's how I demonstrate how thankful are you for what God has done for you. If God hadn't done anything for you, then keep your seat on the pew. But if God has called you out of darkness into the marvelous light, If God has saved your soul, if you have been on your sick bed and God got you up off your sick bed, if he put food on your table, if God has put clothes on your back, if God came to visit you when you were in prison, if God showed you that he is your all and your all, then you need to rise up and demonstrate your gratitude for what God has done for you, and the way that you do it is using your gift. It's using your gift. I don't know how many more years I got in this world. I don't know. Because COVID taught me you could be here today, if I didn't realize it before COVID, and gone tomorrow. So how am I going to spend these 24 hours I got? Because that's all I got. If I make it through the end of the day, that's all I got. So when I rise up in the morning, I got to make a decision. What do I want the end of this day to look like? Do I want to have spent my 24 hours? If I get 24 now, because that ain't promised to you. What do I want the end of this 24 hours to look? What is in me that God has given me that I can use to demonstrate to God I'm thankful for just these 24 hours? If you don't give me no more, but I'm thankful for these. So I got to utilize them to the best of my ability, because just in case I got to meet you in the morning in heaven, I want to be able to say that I used what I had to show my gratitude towards you. Is that all right? I ain't trying to preach. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Ooh, y'all make me tired. I done taught myself happy up here. Because I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful, because I know where I could be. I know what I could be. And I know where I could be. See, knowing your gift equips you to fulfill God's purpose for your life. There's a purpose for you. I know they tried to tell you. I know they gave you every statistic that they wanted to give you. I know they tried to tell us as black women, we got the highest rate of heart disease. We got the highest rate of this. I know they told you as a black man that you destined to be incarcerated and you ain't never going to be this or you not going to be that. I know they tried to paint that picture, but God painted got a different kind of brush that God used to paint your life with. And he paints your life with a purpose. I brought you to the world so that the world through you might know me. If you don't never figure out what your gift is, just know that God brought you to the world, that the world might through you know who God is. How do I demonstrate who God is? Find out what my gift is. I find out what my purpose is. Because if you here, you have a purpose for being here. You're not just a mom or dad, a son or a daughter. You are a child of God. That God has called you in such a time as this. Listen, everybody think because they flying on airplanes and things that COVID is gone. COVID ain't gone. But you have been, you ever think about the fact that God kept you here in this season and such a time as this? God kept you here for a purpose. See, for a purpose. So we're going to keep going because I'm going to show y'all something else. Okay, so God has created each of us uniquely different. He has given us different gifts, different talents, different personalities, different temperaments, and passions to outfit us to accomplish his unique purpose for each of us. True significance in life comes when we discover what that purpose is and calling and use them in our careers and in our ministries. I kept figuring out until I sat down and I looked at my life to see all of these. I had all these pieces, but keep looking at them pieces until God begins to show you how he divinely is threading those pieces. I started out my first job. I used to sell, y'all know them people that call your house with them trying to sell you magazines? Well, I was one of them. That was my first job. I was about 17 or 18, and I was trying to sell people. I got hung up on every time because I wouldn't do the script right, so they would hang up on me. My next job, my first real job, where I was getting a paycheck and some benefits, I worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield. I was what they call a claims adjudicator. I paid your claims. When you went to the doctor, sent your Blue Cross in, I was the one that paid that claim. So I left there. My boss accused me of taking too long of a break one day. You took 2 breaks, and you were supposed to be back at your desk at such and such a time. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. I said, okay. I took off work for about a week or so because I was traumatized. Just take that. I was traumatized. I took off 2 weeks. And I said, in those 2 weeks, I had put some things in place. Well, not me. God put some things in place. I went out and bought me a brand new outfit and went back to work, went in my boss's office and said, listen, today starts the first day of my last 2 weeks. And she said, well, what are you going to do? I don't really know, but I do know I'm not going to do it here. So on my last Friday, they gave me my gifts, my going away party. Sunday night, I got on an airplane. I flew to Columbia, Missouri. I had enrolled in the University of Missouri down there. By Wednesday, I had no job now, but I enrolled in school. By Wednesday, I had a new job. I had an apartment, and I had everything I needed right there. But God still is orchestrating my life now. I just need you to see, watch the pieces in your life. I had a new job. I had enrolled in school, didn't have no money, didn't know how I was going to pay for college because my parents were poor. My mama was poor. They had no money, but I enrolled in school anyway. God set me in front of the dean, and the dean told me I wasn't supposed to be there because I was an out-of-state student. I was supposed to be paying this much and this much and this much. Out of my job, out of my pocket. I'm not bragging, but I'm grateful. Out of my paycheck. I didn't have no student loans. I didn't have nothing. Out of my paycheck, I paid for my undergraduate degree. I was working so hard to be a cytotechnologist, I didn't even know what my grades were until the dean called me and said, did you know you on the dean's list? No, I did not know I was on the dean's list because I didn't care about being on the dean's list. I'm trying to get up out of here and get me a job. Went through the University of Missouri while I was in school, had not even graduated yet. The University of Michigan. I applied for a job at the University of Michigan. I rode the Greyhound bus to a job interview in the dead of winter. I'm still in school, ain't never graduated yet. I'm in school with a job waiting for me when I get out of school. Got back on the Greyhound bus. I didn't even have a car. Went to the University of Missouri, went to the University of Michigan and worked there. Left the University of Michigan, came down here to Henry Ford Hospital. Worked here, left Henry Ford Hospital, went to DMC, worked there, left DMC, and came back to Henry Ford Hospital. I'm working there. I'm saying that to say all of this. The pieces of the puzzle of my life, they all fit. Now watch this. I worked at, remember I told you I worked at Blue Cross Blue Shield. I learned how the hospitals bill insurance company. left Blue Cross Blue Shield, went to the University of Missouri. My job while I was at the University of Missouri was at a hospital called Boone County Hospital. I learned the intricacies of how a hospital functions, how a hospital works. I was the unit clerk at night. I worked from 11 to 7 and went to school from 8 to 4. But, oh yeah. But I learned, I know every unit in the hospital. I know medical records. I know how to do different things. All learning that in the hospital now. So I graduate from school, come back to Detroit, work at the University of Michigan. At the University of Michigan, I'm still seeking a church. I'm sitting and ended up going to Bible class at Third New Hope Church. Pastor Branch gets up to greet me. I didn't even know who the pastor was. I just know this man came up to greet me. I ended up at Third New Hope Baptist Church, where I have been for the last 38 years. Stayed there. And I didn't know when we went to seminary together, Pastor Branch and I. In seminary, I go to seminary to be a better Christian educator, because that was my gift. So I'm in seminary, learning to be a better Christian educator. Graduate from seminary, get out of seminary. In the seminary is when God called me to preach. I get out of seminary, graduate, get my license to preach. One day, Pastor Branch calls me into a meeting. I don't never want to go to no meetings with Pastor Branch. Calls me into a meeting. We are sitting there. And he says to me, because I used to hang out with Pastor Branch at the revivals and everything. And when he go visit the seniors at the church, I didn't know what God was doing, but I just know that I wanted to go see about the seniors. We sitting down together. That's where the ministry of pastoral care was developed. Me and him sitting across the table from each other. Now watch these pieces. All of that came full circle so that the gift of God could come out of me and I could develop and design the ministry of pastoral care at Third New Hope Baptist Church and almost 10 other churches around here. But every piece of that puzzle, God used it to get me in front of Pastor Branch so that Pastor Branch could see the gift of God that was in me and pull the gift of God up out of me. And when it was my time to let the gift go full force, he took his hand off of me and just let me go. I'm saying to somebody in here, you have a gift of God that is within you, and God is calling you in this season to figure out what that gift is. It starts off in here, but it's bigger than you, and it's bigger than this church. And some of y'all listening to me, it's much larger than you could ever imagine that it could be. So he says you got to know what he's equipped you to do. And knowing your spiritual gift adds to your self-acceptance. I know you think that some of the stuff that God is saying to you now, God, I ain't never seen none of this before. I've never heard of this. There is no, people thought pastoral care was taking care of the pastor. I said, y'all seen my pastor? Do he look like he need to be cared for? So that can't be what he was calling me to do. My first lady does a great job at that, so my calling is not to care for the pastor. Pastoral care is about caring for the people of God and calling the people, calling the sheep to learn how to take care of each other. So let me, any questions? Y'all, we good? No questions, no comments? All right, we gonna keep. This last piece I have, and I love this piece because it's so real for the lives of the people of God. This last piece I have is a piece that I teach. Like I told y'all, I'm a Christian educator as well, so I'm the president of Heritage Center for Religious Studies, which is housed at Third and Hope Baptist Church. Oh, that's the other piece of the puzzle, too. Pastor Branch and I going through seminary together. While he was in seminary over 25 years ago, he started a school called Heritage Center for Religious Studies. So when he retired, he's the CEO of Heritage Center, but he appointed me to be the president of Heritage Center. And the question was asked to him, why he made me president. And he says, because she knows the story. Because she's been there from the day the school opened, I've been there. So your hanging around certain places is really a way for God to open doors for you and your gift. Your gift will make room for you. Trust me, it will make room for you. So in there, I teach this class. I love this, my favorite class to teach in the world. And it's about how God shapes leaders. It's what God uses to shape leaders. And Pastor Wilton called me one time, and I did a piece of it here before. And I don't know if any of you all were here, but y'all pretend like you didn't hear this before. But there is something about, and I want you to understand this, when God is working on your life to pull your gifts forward. This particular piece talks about what God uses to do that. And your life is like a story. And life has what he calls, the author calls, subplots. And there are 6 subplots to your life. And out of those 6 subplots, God uses them to shape you. It's heart shaping, because your gift has to come from the heart. It can't come from the head. Because if it comes from the head, you can reason it away. See, you can reason it away. You can tell yourself all the time why you shouldn't and couldn't and can't and ain't. But when it's in your heart, you can't help it. You can't help it. You can't help it. So he uses these subplots. And when it comes to heart shaping, you got to understand something. He says that God does not unilaterally mold and script passive human beings who exercise no role in the scripting of their life development. Okay? God is not a passive observer. He does not call you out of darkness into the marvelous light, give you a gift, tell you to get up and use your gift, and then go away. God is not a passive observer. God lovingly, he says, superintends every part of our lives. Our choice never renders us helpless or beyond divine intervention. Help me, somebody. I don't care what you do, how bad you do it, it does not negate the fact that God can step into your life. And I tell my students, and I'm going to tell you all too, you can write this in the chat, but quote me on it when you do it. You do not have the right to throw away any part of your life, because God takes every aspect of your life to shape you to be what God wants you to be. I don't care if you was out there on drugs. I don't care if you was an alcoholic. I don't care if you didn't even believe in God. I don't care if you cussed. I don't care if you fussed. I don't care. God can take. Can I get a witness in here? When you think back over what you used to be, what you used to do, where you used to go, God takes every part of our lives and shapes it to help us to become what God wants us to be. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. These subplots. The first subplot God uses is called culture. Your culture. Your culture. It includes all of the environmental influences that shapes your life and your ministry. The culture. It's not by happenstance that in the year of whatever year you were born into, see, that's why this whole Roe versus Wade stuff, they didn't consult God on this. It's not by happenstance that whatever year, you think about the year that you were born in, that God knew that it was time for you to enter into this world. See, I believe, like Pastor, I believe in choice. And I understand you are here, whatever year you were born in. God knew that it was time for you to enter into this world. And if God brought you into this world, he didn't bring you into the world just because he needed somebody else here. He had a divine assignment for your life. So the culture, and he knew what was happening. And I tell people all the time, go back, Google the year you were born and see what was happening in the world when God decided it was time for you to come. See, look what was happening in the world. But God, no matter what it could have been for me, well, we ain't going to talk about when I came to the world. But look at the year that God decided it was time. What was happening in the world when you came into it? What was the culture like? See, I came in before the 60s. I was alive and well when we had the 67 riot in Detroit. I wasn't old, but I was old enough because I lived in the neighborhood where it started. What was happening in the world when you came into it? So the first thing he uses is culture. And your culture includes the historical period that you came into, the political situation that was happening when you came into the world. Just imagine the children that was born during the Trump administration. If God tarries, what their culture story is going to be when they grow up. The second one is you got your culture, then you got the call. And what the call is, and for some of you it may be a call to preach or whatever, but don't let that's what messed the church up, because the word call became synonymous with preaching. So people felt like I could just sit back and do nothing because I don't have a call. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because what a call is, it's the awareness of a call or some sense of destiny. The call is your personal conviction of having received some life assignment or a mission that must be completed. It's something that's nagging at your life. It's the footprint that you are to leave here on the earth that God is calling you to do, so that the world will know that you were here and that God was moving through you while you were here. So it's the call. The call orders your efforts, affecting decisions in every area of your life. Once you recognize that there's something that God has divinely assigned for you to do, it begins to pepper your whole life. It peppers your whole life. The call just don't happen on Sunday. It orchestrates now. That's why people don't like to accept it. Come on now. Y'all heard them crazy stories. People, I was laying in the hospital and I knew that God had called me, but I didn't accept my call, but I'm going to accept my call now. I bet you are. But for real, people understand the magnitude of the call, but you have it. So you've got the call. And then is the third one is community. You do not develop in isolation. You do not develop by yourself. Even when Paul in the Bible received his call, and it says that for so long he went off into Arabia, but he had to come back to the community. So your community, you emerge within a community. When I accepted my call to preach, I wasn't out there. I was sitting in the pew in the church. I was sitting, well, not necessarily the pew, but I was in the work of the community of the church. So you do not work in isolation. There's a community around you. Your family of origin. I know they're crazy, because I'm related to your cousins. I know they're crazy. But they are the ones that help to shape you. They are the ones that help to shape you. And my community is very critical to me. Those that are around me, because they help you not to think so highly of yourself than you ought. See, because you know this world, you know, you get out here, you preach 2 sermons, teach 1 class, and you think you all that. But you need somebody in your life that'll check you when you need to be checked. You know, I fooled around and thought I had become somebody. I did a little luncheon and stay in the room, only in the room. And when the thing was over, people was coming up to me with their programs. Oh, Minister Nelson, would you sign my program? I was signing programs, just signing. Oh, let me go over here and sign this program. I'm going over here and sign this program. And I had my best friend and my sister, that same one that got stole her purse. They were standing down there, and I kept hearing something going, psst. I'm just signing autographs. Psst. So I looked out there and see them. They said, get to the car. You have 5 minutes to get to the car because we leave it. So I stopped signing autographs. And on my way out the door, they wanted to take a picture. And I sat down with the people that was trying to take a picture. I think it was for the Chronicle. They was trying to take a picture. And them same 2 said, take another picture. All these people, they standing behind all the people. The people can't see them, but I can. Take 1 more picture, and you're going to need a ride home. But I say that because that's my community. Those are the folk that have permission to check my life when I get out of line. Because, see, your gift will make room for you, but you'll mess around and get in the room and think you higher than you ought, and you need somebody that's around you that holds you accountable to the call that God has on your life, to remind you it ain't your call, it's God's call, and God is using you to bring forth the call that's in you. So the community is your friendship, and it's your faith communities as well. I still have my friend that was my friend when I was 4 years old. And in 3 months, I'll be 65. And I still have my same girlfriend that was my friend. She was 4 and I was 6. We played Barbie dolls together. We played house together. We got mad at each other and slammed our front doors and said, I ain't playing with you no more together. I still have my same friend to this day. She is a part of my community. The next one is communion. These are the things that God uses. Can y'all see them? Y'all getting them? These are the things that God is using to shape your life. Communion. How it reflects how the one that God is shaping, conscious cultivation of a relationship with God. When God is shaping you, spiritual leaders deal in spiritual currency. The value of this currency depends directly on the strength of the leader's deposits into the relationship back with the Almighty. Your currency depends on how much time you spend with God. That's what your communion with God, the time that you spend with God all by yourself. Because, see, we can come out here, we can do a whole lot of stuff. I can do a whole lot of stuff in front of you all. Oh, but when I get in the presence of God, you got to spend some time with God by yourself, just you and God alone. Because you might as well get there because God already know you. He already know your stuff, so you can't hide it from him. And I love the part in the book because it's a little piece in there where it calls God the other. And it says that you are in a room, and all of a sudden you're in that room all by yourself, and the other comes in. And it says, and the other wades through the muck and mire of your life that the other just wades through there and comes into and takes a seat in the presence of all your stuff, all of that stuff you can't tell nobody about, all that stuff that you've been hiding because you don't want us to know about it, but the other comes and wades through all that stuff. Y'all been there yet? Y'all been there yet where God had to come and check you about you to let you know that you ain't all of that, but I still love you in spite of? He works through all of that. And it's your communion with God when God can tap into all of that stuff that reminds you you're more than that. I already know about all of the mess that's in your life. I already know about the stuff that you've been through. And I tell you, but I still love you in spite of all of that because I saved you from all of that, and I saved you for a purpose and a goal, and I placed some part of me down on the inside of you, and that's the part when we come together, I tap into the part of me that's like me, and I help you to grow in the way I need you to grow, because when you come out of this room, you ain't got to worry about what folks think. You ain't got to worry about what you've done in your past, because I'm the God of forgiveness, and I'm the God that gives gifts. All right. And the next gift, the next subplot of your life is conflict. Conflict. Oh, y'all didn't think y'all gonna have no conflict? All y'all ushers act right. All y'all choir members sing good. All the altos sing the alto part. All the preachers do what they're supposed to do. Your house is, when we drive by your house, we see the wings of the angel on it because everything's perfect. Conflict is a part of using your gifts for God. Because you do know everybody ain't pleased with you when you use your gift. Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure. It says one could naively suspect that because spiritual leaders focus on healing and you focus on grace and you focus on taking care of people and doing all these kind of things, peacemaking and reconciliation, that you escape conflict. Because we fool ourselves. I'm doing this for God. The Lord called me to do this. I'm doing this for God, and so therefore, because I'm doing this for God, I'm never going to have a problem that God can't solve them. And I'm all of this and all that. We convince ourselves of that. But let me serve notice on you today that if you in God's business, conflict comes with it. It's just, and see, all conflict ain't bad, because conflict helps to shape you. It helps you, and see, and there's a part in the book that asks the question, you gotta weigh the issue and not people, and begin to ask the real questions. Could it be true? Could it be true? Because you do know you ain't all of that and a bag of chips. And every now and then you can get reminded of that. So conflict, it says, conflict is the nature of the work places the spiritual leader, just the mere fact that you've been called and you're working in your calling, in a combative position against destructive powers, the dark side of spiritual forces. Y'all do know you will do spiritual warfare. Jesus did spiritual warfare. So you're not exempt from it. So conflict is a part of the shaping of your gifts and what God is doing. And so the next one is commonplace. This is the last one. And I'm done because I got 15 minutes. Commonplace. A lot of heart shaping, a lot of gifting, and a lot of training activity goes on in the everyday, run-of-the-mill, when nobody's looking activity of your life. When you ain't got no collar on, you ain't got the uniform on, you ain't got all that on. That's where some of the best shaping happens for your life. The ordinary and the routines serve to shape your character. How you respond to the everyday challenges and opportunities reflects a basic predisposition toward God's work in your life. When ain't nobody looking at you, y'all know, because y'all gonna do it in a day or two from now, on the 4th of July. The 4th of July is your commonplace. When you get to the barbecue, see, pastor ain't around, you get to the barbecue. Am I right? I'm just saying what I'm saying. Come on now. Don't be trying to act brand new in front of me, because I know. I know when we get to the barbecue, you know, I ain't trying to, you know, pray up heaven and call down hell. I'm just gonna relax and be myself. And don't y'all just want to relax and just be yourself? And it's in the commonplace that you can do that. You know, your mama and your dad and them, your uncles and your cousins and them, they know you. Come on over here and let's get us a good bid whiz game going. Oh, can we say that in the church? No, come on, when the last time? You know, you're so holy you can't play spades no more. Come on. Right. But it's in the commonplace where you can sit down. Yeah. When Uncle Joe and Uncle Willie and ain't whatever did Aunt Barbara bring that potato pie that she makes. I ain't too holy for a potato pie. I can't go around them, you know, because they been out to the car and they got a red cup. So I got to stay away from that. Come on, I'm just saying what I'm saying. Because we you know, even Jesus went to a wedding and turned water into wine, even though it might not have been fermented, but he did it. Because he understood that we have to be around the common people in our lives because they help us to understand that God called us from this very place right here, and we demonstrate when we go back amongst them that if God can work in my life, he can work in yours. It demonstrates for us. So what's your gift? Find out what the gift of God is that's in you. Go to work using that gift.
Say it in the mic. Yeah, say it in the mic. Yes, yes.
God, I'm grateful. God, I'm thankful. I recognize, God, if it had not been for you by my side, where I would be. But because I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful, what can I render? What can I render? What can I render? Y'all, I want to spend the rest of my life. I told Pastor in the office, it's my season, I believe, of pouring into people, helping them to discover what God has called them to do, and then helping them find ways to shape that gift that's within them. Will we get it right all the time? No. No. I still find times in pastoral care that I mess up. I missed the funeral. I missed the hospital visit. The worst thing that ever happened to me in ministry, in pastoral care, was I put off going to visit somebody when they asked me to come see them, and they died. I didn't make it. Because I know that we don't always get it right all the time. But I'm so grateful for a God of another chance. Find out, y'all, what your gift is. Find out where you can get the gift nurtured. And then go to work. That's the only thing you can do. You ain't got enough money to pay God. You ain't got enough education to outsmart God. But what you do have is a spirit of gratitude. And you can use that spirit of gratitude to show that gratitude towards somebody else. so that they might show their gratitude as well. We're in this thing to serve. We are servants of the Most High God. And the Bible says there comes a time when we ought to serve and not be served. There's a season to be served. But don't let God find you sitting down waiting to be served when it's your time to serve. So I thank God for every opportunity to demonstrate to God that I'm grateful. He saved my soul. I was on my way to hell. Didn't even realize it. But he saved my soul. And he gave me life eternal. Not because I was so good, but because his son had a purpose. And it was to come here to go to Calvary's cross, to die and be resurrected so that we might have life eternal. What shall I render? What shall I give? I serve at Gethsemane. Y'all had Dr. Duckworth here last week. I served with Dr. Duckworth at Gethsemane. God's so good, he doubled my membership. I serve at 2 churches. I serve at Gethsemane and Third and Hope. And the reason why I serve at Gethsemane is because when I was working on my doctorate, Pastor Duckworth, being a new pastor then, opened up his church to me and allowed me to work with his Christian education ministry. And so I went back to Gethsemane and I told that church, I don't have any money to give you. But what I do have is a gift from God. So let me show my gratitude to you by serving this congregation. I don't get paid to serve in the church because there's no price you can put on gratitude. I'm just thankful and I'm grateful. God bless you all.
Oh, y'all better clap your hands for that today. Celebrate Dr. Jacqueline Nelson. No. Would you help me celebrate God for her today? Be seated quickly. Be seated quickly. Everybody watching, I know you are received. Did you receive something tonight? Today? Throw it in the comments. There is a gift in me. I want to do this quickly because it's 10:55, and on Saturday, I love Dr. Nelson. I mean, the truth of the matter is, on Saturday, we are creating culture, okay? Culture class. So I want you, everyone that's watching, those of you that have questions, I want you to prepare those. I want you. So look, I want you to prepare your questions real quick. We got 5 minutes, so we ain't got time to wait for you. If you got questions, I want you to get them on your heart. I want you to do it. But before that, I want everybody watching, how many of you received something today? Okay? I want everybody that received, do me a favor. I want you to quickly give today. I want you to plant a seed that is reflective of how grateful you are, because truth changes the way you see the way life been lying to you. Truth changes the way you see things. And this morning, I want you to sow. I want to be a blessing to this woman of God. And on Saturdays, salvation is free, but ministry isn't. And so as we're creating culture and building a model, it is important that those that receive are also reciprocal and that you sow. This morning, I challenge every one of you again just to plant a $25 seed. If you can't do that, PW, I want you to get the closest thing to it. But I want you to stretch today, because goodness knows she poured everything out today. Man, my grandmother's here this morning. Y'all give Mother Smith a hand. And yesterday I got the coolest grandma in town. Johnny, my grandma, 90 years young. We went to Elvis yesterday, and then after we left Elvis, Chanel, we got in the car. And you know, my son, he like riding with the music loud. And grandma didn't say turn it down. She started dancing with him, y'all. But a lot of people don't know that really Dr. Nelson loves me. This is important that you always know that never think every door you walk through is because of you. Sometimes God's allowed people to come before you, and people love you because of the way they love them. And see, my grandmama, I don't know if you heard her. I like the fact that she 90, but she act 19 sometimes. While you were preaching, I heard my grandmama holler back there. She said, "Preach, girl." and she been sitting back there. They don't know that y'all work together or something, right? Tell me about that. Tell us. You got to use the mic, Doc. You got.
She was the operator at Henry Ford Hospital.
Wow.
That's where she worked. And I would hear her voice over the speaker system. And I didn't know who she was until I met his dad.
Wow.
His dad was the first speaker for me when I did my first Pastor Care Conference.
Wow. You know what's crazy? My mom and dad are watching right now. They're in Las Vegas. So I love y'all. Would y'all clap for them? I mean, I'm just glad to... And okay, everybody that's giving, I want to pray. Father, thank you for the spirit of liberality and generosity that is in this room and on this live. I thank you for this woman of God's pour that has made all of our lives better. We don't know what exactly you're going to do or how you're going to do it. But Father, as these your people sow these seeds, any way you bless us, I promise we'll be satisfied. And I pray that you cause these seeds to multiply, some 30, some 60, some 1,000-fold. It is in Jesus' name. Everybody said, thank God and amen. If you're giving via Cash App, send it to New Life Anywhere or PW Live. If you're texting to give, text NL Give to 84576. I want to put the book up because I took that class, okay? I took that class with Dr. Nelson on understanding your spiritual gift. How many of you know, like Whitney, I know God knew not to send me to earth in the days of segregation. He knew not to, because no, for real. I mean, Val, straight up, I'm going to say, what you mean a whites only fountain? Y'all ought to have been hung by Tuesday. Y'all ain't saying that. God knows when to send you, and he knows what gift to get you. And I took your class, and they've been hearing me quote. I mean, I be preaching good, too. I be talking about Luke and how Jesus was tempted when he came out the wilderness. And they be thinking I was so deep, but really I took her class. And this was the book. It is on the screen. It's called A Work of Heart by Reggie McNeil, Understanding How God Shapes. I mean, that book, you changed my life in just one exchange concerning this. And I want you to read the book. I want you to get it. It talks about Jesus and the world and Paul.
Jesus, Paul, Moses. Jesus, Paul, and Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about how God took Moses in the desert
Mm-hmm.
to Midian. And the reason why he took him to the desert is to shape him in the desert so that when he went back to Egypt to get the Israelites, he'd have desert lessons.
Wow.
He'd have lessons from the desert that would help him to guide a people.
So it's safe to say that God is shaping us while he's shifting us. It's crazy. You got everybody that's shifting and shaping at the same time. You need to get this book so that you can dig deeper into, because how many of you today, your curiosity has really been tapped today? Come on, wave your hand if that's you. You got to go deeper off camera, and that's the book. Put it up one more time by Reggie McNeil, A Work of Heart. Now, if you've got a question, I want you to quickly ask the question. Tomorrow, and I challenge all of you, you know on Saturday, I try to give you a glimpse of what God is doing on Sunday. Ain't it crazy, Doc? Did we talk about, I didn't tell her how to say it, but God's always saying the same thing. Okay, I keep telling you, I don't invite preachers and prep them. I don't do that. That's manipulation. I bring people when the Lord's impressed upon my heart that it's time. And whenever they come, if you notice, they don't bring a new word. They confirm what God's saying because the word is the same. One plants, another waters, and then God gives increase. I want to challenge everybody watching, everyone today. I want you to read 2 Corinthians chapter 4. I want you to read it in your entirety today so that you can hear what God will tell you. And then tomorrow, I'll have a chance to kind of share with you some thoughts about what God tells me. Your light will always be broken if you're dependent on people to like you. overcoming conflict and criticism is a part of who you're called to be. And I think your destiny is through the doorway of being disliked.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just got to accept
Everybody ain't gonna like you.
everybody ain't gonna like me. Have you ever had one of those moments, Doc, where you just had to be you regardless of what they thought?
Oh God, yeah. I can remember in being a woman in ministry, going to the convention and having the leader of the convention come into the classroom setting and tell the instructor that he could not talk about women preachers.
Wow.
He could talk about whatever he wanted to talk about at his church, but in that convention, he could not talk about women preachers. I cried so hard because my feelings was hurt so bad.
While you were sitting there?
While I was sitting there. I cried so hard, and when I found my pastor and Pastor Chapman, they were together, I was the ugly cry. And I told them what happened to me, and they told me, if you're going to stay in this, you're going to have to get tough skinned. Because everybody's not going to like you.
Wow.
And I knew from that day forward, because I'm a very sensitive person.
Yeah.
But I couldn't carry those sensitivities on my shoulders if I was going to do what God was assigning me to do. I didn't lose my sensitivity, but I couldn't carry it as on my shoulders all the time because I was going to be broke down more than I was standing up.
Wow.
But I had to learn from that everybody's not going to like you.
Yeah.
And they really wasn't caring nothing about women in ministry in that season.
Yeah. I mean, would y'all clap for a sister that kept going before it was, no, for real, before it was, see, because often we only celebrate the famous trailblazers, but man, would you celebrate God for this strong sister that has set this lane on fire? Y'all ought to do better than that. I've seen Dr. Nelson perform in the face of opposition, and I honor you for that. No, the kingdom is in conflict, so if God's going to use you, you can't be scared of it. Be seated, be seated. All right, if you got a question real quick, I want you to go quickly. I want you to get your question out. I want you to do it quickly. And all of you watching on Facebook and Instagram, I'm going to let y'all go today. One of the benefits of coming in the room is that you get this kind of exchange. On next Saturday, Dr. Brianna Mitchell is coming from Nashville, Tennessee, to talk about the purpose of how do we preach when it seemed like we don't see the people. How do we preach to the Acts model of church? Because even though the method hasn't changed, the message, would you just tell them for a second, is Dr. Mitchell worth coming to here next week? I mean, really.
I'm trying to figure out how to rearrange my Saturday. So if y'all look up, I might be sitting in the back.
Come on.
Back there.
Come on.
He's a voice for this season.
And so next week we'll move to that. I want you to do it. All right, come on. Terry, let me have it. What you got?
First of all, I want to thank God for allowing you to come today, because if nobody says it, you have helped me.
Bless you. Bless you.
My question, first of all, is coming from a person that knows her gift.
Okay.
How do you think mentally and don't quit on the gift, knowing that you feel the weight of it and that it's a need in the earth, but there's no blueprint for it?
So if you don't mind, can you tell me what your gift is?
The gift of healing.
The gift of healing? You feel the weight of it, of the gift.